Hello, good morning. Today we are going to discuss about factors affecting crop production in the ARD sessions. Okay. So many of the questions are arised from these topic in both descriptive part and also in the objective sessions. Even from the 2017 onwards, they asked about what is the temperature requirement of the rice crop and what is the wind velocity, optimal wind velocity. So like this, so many questions are arised from 2017 onwards, and in every examination they use it to ask questions from these topics. So this topic is very relevant in the exam point of view. Okay, so we will briefly discuss about the things matters points here. Factors affecting crop production are the things which is directly or indirectly influencing the production and yield of the crop. So it can be internal factor or it can be the external factors. Internal factors means genetic factors which is involved in the plant genetic material. Okay. And the external factors means environmental factors. It may include the climatic factors, soil factors, economic factors, etc. So the basic classification is the internal factors and the another one is the external factors. So, and now we will discuss about the internal factors or the genetic factors in depth. We know that in plant, in the cell, there is genetic material, and this material are responsible for the some of the phenotypic and genotypic characters. Okay, and we know the plant yield will be directly proportional to the their resistance to the diseases, pest, salinity, drought, etc. So all these characters are controlled by gene that is present inside the plant. And we know that genetic engineering is mainly concentrating on inclusion of the genes that is responsible for the disease and pest resistance mainly in the genetic engineering sector. So thereby the production of the crop is getting increased. Here you see the crop production and its yield and desirable characters like the quality of the material, taste, everything is related to the genetic makeup of the plant. And here we will discuss about the each and every topic in depth. Okay, the first one is the salinity tolerance. So salinity tolerance means in case of the mango rootstock, sapota rootstock, and in case of orange, we use the salinity tolerant rootstock for the better crop production. So like that in case of the resistant to lodging, we will use the semi-tolerant variety, semi-dwarf varieties and dwarf varieties which is much resistance to lodging. Thereby in the just before the harvesting, the lodging may be occur in case of the failed crop that can be prevented, and thereby the crop loss can be prevented. So we will use the semi-dwarf and dwarf varieties by inclusion of the Norrington gene in case of wheat and the DGO gene in case of the rice. Okay. Next one is disease resistant. In case of both vegetables and fruit crop, we use disease resistant genetic material. So thereby the effect of the pest and disease will be get reduced. And you know that in case of the rice, IR20 is the this IR20 that is responsible for the resistance to bacterial leaf blight disease, bacterial brown spot disease, etc. And next one is high yielding ability. For that, we are using the high yielding varieties that is also influenced by the genetic makeup of the plant. And next one is the drought tolerance. So that is mainly used in the case of the arid fruit crops. Okay. So we'll use the drought tolerance genetic material. By the plant will be get tolerance to these adverse atmospheric condition, and thereby they use it to produce a much more product compared to the remaining crop. And early maturity, you may think how this early maturity is influencing the crop production. Okay, so if the plant is getting matured early, we can escape the plant from the pest attack or disease attack, or sometime maybe the adverse calamities also we can avoid by early sowing and early maturing by using the early maturing variety. And what are the input that is used for this early maturing variety is less compared to the late maturing variety. Oh, so thereby we can increase the crop production. Okay. So I think all these factors are clear for you. We discussed about salinity tolerance, resistance to lodging, disease resistant, and you can add pest resistance also. And in some of the plant, there will be the insect will be having pectin content will be there in the leaf material. Okay, so that will be make the plant resistant to the pest. So that can all be a reason for the crop production, increase the crop production and high yielding ability. For that, in that we can use the high yielding varieties. Okay, next one is drought tolerance and early maturity. We discussed about all these topics. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. Okay, so we are moving to the next topic. I hope this is very clear for you. So next one is the external factor or environmental factors. So these are the things that is not related to the genetic material. Okay. And nearly 50% of the crop production is depending upon these environmental and external factors. And that's why the states is making, India has considering the agriculture as state subject. Okay. So in every region, the climate will be different and the effect also will be different, so that's why agriculture is considered as a state subject. So just keep that in your mind. Okay, while discussing, I just mentioned that you can keep that in your mind also. Okay, so in this external factor that is outside the plant material. Okay, so it may be climatic factors like temperature, rainfall, and humidity. Everything will comes under the climatic factor. Okay, we can call this as meteorological factors also. And another one is the socio-economic factors. It is related to the economical status or the social condition of that particular society, and that will be having an influence on the material that they are used for the crop production. And another one is the edaphic factor. You know that edaphic means that is something related to the soil. Okay, so here the factors that is influence soil factors that is influencing the crop production. And next one is the physiographic factors. Physiographic factors are nothing but the topography and the geographical condition of the land. Next one is the biotic factor. Biotic factor means living things, like the plant growth of one plant is influenced by the growth of other plant, or growth of the plant is influenced by some of the microorganism or any other animal. Okay, all these factors are comes under the biotic factors. Okay, next one is the so what are the things we are discussed now is, one is crop growth, that is influenced by internal factors and external factors. External means environmental factors, internal mean genetic or the hereditary factors. Okay, and here in internal factors we discussed about the disease resistance, pest resistant, salinity resistant, and drought tolerance and high yielding variety, early maturing variety, everything we are considered under the internal factor. And the another one is the external factor, or we can call this as the environmental factors. And the things here we considered is climatic, edaphic, biotic, physiographic, and socio-economic factors. It is a just brief. Okay. So just before the examination, if you want to go for an outline, you can just view this slide only. Okay. So you will get an outline of the entire topic. So now we are going to discuss about the each of this topic in depth. Okay. So here the first one is the climatic factor. In that, temperature. How the temperature is influencing the crop growth. We know that optimal temperature is the cardinal temperature is the for the important particular crop, just like wheat, rice, and mango, coconut. And in some of the plant, you have to maintain the you have to remember the important temperature for their growth, like lycopene content when they are increasing, and in case of the tuberization, at what temperature is tuberization is taking place. All these things you have to remember. And now we will discuss about the temperature. What is the influence of the temperature? The optimal temperature for the growth is about 15 to 15 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius, or it is around the 75 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, so this is the optimal temperature where the growth of the plant will be moderately occur. Okay, or optimal temperature for the growth of the plant. Above and below this will be tamper the growth of the plant, where the reduction in the growth will be observed. And another thing is the precipitation. Okay, so if the temperature is increases, what will happen? Wilting will be occur, and if the temperature is reducing, that is also the plant become flaccid and it will become died. Okay, so to maintain the optimal temperature is very much important. According to that only, we are choosing the crop for the production. Okay, next one is the precipitation. In this precipitation, both quality and the quantity of the amount, quality and quantity will be considered. And here you know that in case of the India, the annual rainfall rate is about nearly 1094. So that you have to remember. And the rain should be, the precipitation should be occurred in the particular time. If it is in some of the time, if it is not feasible, it will be adversely affect the growth of the plant. And in some cases of the some plants like rice and sugarcane, their water requirement and the precipitation requirement is much more compared to the other crops. That also you have to keep in your mind. Next one is the solar radiation. In case of solar radiation, you have to remember the optimal solar radiation for the plant growth is about 400 nanometer to 700 nanometer. In this, the most suitable one is the 600 nanometer. Okay, so above this, what will happen? Red drop will happen. And the yield will be, photosynthesis will be eventually reduced and it will be harmful for the crop. Okay, so at 600 nanometer, the optimal crop production and photosynthesis will be taking place, and the red light region is more suitable for the photosynthesis. Next one is the wind velocity. Why wind velocity is that much important? Why? Because the optimal wind condition should be there. Otherwise, it will make the air or the saturation of the water content that is present in the air will be removed by the wind, and the optimal wind condition should be about 4 to 6 kilometer per hour. Okay, if such in an area where the wind velocity is much more than this, we have to use the windbreak. Okay, and also you can use the shelter belts also. Okay, so if you're using all these things, we'll get a protection up to 5 to 25 times of the height of the plant. Okay, and you can use gravilia and these plants, glycidia, these plants you can use as a windbreakers. And another one is the relative humidity. Relative humidity means what is the content of moisture that is in the atmosphere. If it is very dry air, it will be about 0. If it is completely saturated with moisture, water content, it will be 100%. But the optimal condition for the growth of the plant is about what? It is about 60 percentage. Okay, so you can remember it is very easily. Here the solar radiation that is around 400 to 600 nanometer, wind velocity that is around 4 to 6 kilometer per hour, and relative humidity that is also 40 to 60 percentage. Okay, so these three things are related to 4 to 6 in that range. Okay, so you can remember this very much easily. And next one is the atmospheric gas, how it is affecting, because we know that for the crop production, carbon dioxide is needed. For the photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is needed, and is also water vapor content is also required. So thereby they are influencing the crop production. The optimal photosynthesis should be the, then only the material, what is the content that has to be produced, will be formed. And next one is the edaphic factors. Edaphic factor is nothing but the soil moisture, soil temperature, soil layer, soil mineral matter, soil organisms, and the soil reactions. Okay, so here soil moisture means for the optimal uptake of the nutrient, a much amount of the water should be there in the soil. If it is very dry, it will be affect the nutrient uptake. Okay, so you know that in the soil about 25 percentage should be moisture should be there, and so 25 percentage air should be there, and this air you can see in the micropores, and the moisture you can see in the both micro and macropores. Okay, that is the optimal condition for the soil moisture and the soil air. In case of the soil temperature, it should be slightly more than the atmospheric temperature should be there. And next one is the soil mineral matter, that will be varying according to the soil type. You know that red soil is the black soil is the, so in this some soil, red soil, kaolite mineral will be more. In case of the black soil, vertisol will be there. Okay, so vermiculites also will be there. So according to that, the character will be different, and the crop that is growing in that particular soil is also different. The crop should be sown into the particular soil that is suitable for the crop production, just like black soil is used for the cotton production. Okay, then only the optimal production will be happen. Next one is the soil organism. So in this soil organism, you can consider bacteria, algae, fungi, and the earthworms, etc. The soil organism, the amount of the soil organism will be depending upon the what is pH of the soil. If it is optimal pH 7, if it is near to the neutral pH, more bacteria will be there, and after that algae will be there, then fungi will be there. Okay. And next one is soil reaction, humidification and acidification, everything you know. So that is also important for the crop production. Okay. Elevation, every process you know. No? So all these comes under the soil reaction. And next one is a biological factor, or we can call this as biotic factor. So in this mainly they are including the fauna and flora. Okay. So here in case of the flora, that is nothing but the plant material. So you know that in case of existing vegetation, some of the plant will release some toxic material, allelopathic chemical. So it will be harmful for the another plant. Okay. And sometimes the interspecific competition will be the intraspecific competition will be the between the same species of the plant. Okay. So all these are comes under the competition. And in case of some plants, if you are planting legumes along with cereal, what will happen? Both are getting benefited there. Okay, that mutual relationships also will occur here. And comes under the soil organism. So you can mention the earthworm. Okay, which will be used for the humidification, and the soil aeration will be increased, and thereby the production will be increased. And another one is human being, the anthropological activities. So the anthropological activity that will be influencing the soil temperature, soil condition also. Okay. Next one is the physiographic factors. So in this physiographic factors, topography, altitude, steepness, and exposure of the light and wind. So that's about the topic here.